What's going on, guys? It's Sunny back again with another Madden 18 video. In this video, we're going to be checking out the Legend Gauntlet Challenge number 40, Gauntlet-ception 3. We need 50 rushing yards every quarter, 100 yards passing every half, 450 total offense, 5 touchdowns, and give up 14 or fewer points. If you want the extra pack, you got to give up less than 100 yards. So I'm going to give you some tips, some things that I learned through my first couple games. This took me 3 times to do it. So I learned a lot the first couple times, so I'm going to give you what I think is the best way to do it. And of course, when we start every one of these challenges where time is a requirement, we need to flip that accelerated clock off. My biggest thing that I had in this challenge, I guess, was the rushing part. As you see, this was the time before I finished it. I got everything but that 50 yards. They're on all Madden 90 level. They have unbelievable pursuit. So that standard inside zone that I normally run, that doesn't work as effectively, man. You need to use draws, and I'll show you which draw play, and also a jet sweep. If you have anything where you can put a halfback on as a wide receiver and then run some sort of jet sweep or something, I think that will work. But I don't have any in this playbook. So gun, I go over to, at least for the running play that I use, I go over to gun now and I do just the halfback draw. Same exact formation, the spread formation as the inside zone, except this time they don't attack instantly the second that you hand the ball off. When you do the draw, the defenders at least step back a little bit away from the line. That gives you the chance or the opportunity to find the holes that you need in order to break some runs. I had a lot more success. I think with the jet sweep, you can probably run very similar, just outrunning to the edge some of these guys with these high pursuits. But as soon as I got my 50 yards the first quarter, I just ran that draw play 50 yards. And then what I did was I used the strong formation, pitched it over to the halfback, and ran straight backwards. This challenge, like all other challenges, only count for when you do positive yards. So negative yards don't really matter. And then since I already got my 50 yards rushing, I went over to the trips halfback weak shotgun formation, did the verticals, and then it's time to throw the ball up the field to get these passing yards. You need 100 yards passing. I get past the first down marker and then just fall over. Get to the strong formation again, go to the pitch play, run straight backwards again. So, and then after I do that, go back over to the 4 verticals. Since I don't need to rush the ball, you don't need to run the ball anymore after you get your 50 yards, so then you can throw the ball up the field. The touchdowns aren't a problem in this game, or in this challenge. You don't really have to worry about that. But then after I got that, I was already at like 150 passing yards, way past the 50 yards rushing, and so then it was just kick the ball off, got a hit stick, and then lucky enough to get the fumble. It's not necessary to win this challenge getting a turnover like that, but it definitely helps. So I throw it into the strong formation, ran straight backwards again. It's still in the first quarter, so I'm just trying to chunk up the yards to get that 450 yards, get the 450 yards. So after that, it's in the second quarter now. Now it's time to put up another touchdown. We got another touchdown. So I'm still running the same vertical plays. This time I do onside kick, though, because you can give up 14 points, right? After you do the onside kick, I'm going to go over into field goal block. But the second time I do it, I'm going to show you a different way to do it. I just wanted to check to see if I go offsides, if it's going to count the offensive yards, and it does. So even if you go offsides, it counts the offensive yards. So I was like, you know what? Note to self, I'm going to think of a better way to do that because I want that extra pack. So to get the extra pack, you need less than 100 yards given up, and so you can still give up the 14 points. 14 points isn't a big deal, so you can let them score twice. And now after I let them score, I go back over to that halfback draw in that spread formation, get that 50 yards again, because for me, you know, that was the only thing that was actually a concern, was getting that 50 yards. Once I used that halfback draw, though, it definitely got a lot easier. As you see, you know, I'm getting 10, 15, 20 yards, and I think on some jet sweeps you can probably do the same thing. But as long as you get that 50 yards, man, you're pretty much good. And then if you want to get that not giving up the 100 yards, I'm going to show you here in just a second. As soon as the second half starts, I'm going to show you a little different way to actually do it. So then I did the onside kick again this time, and got pretty lucky. Even though they got it, I was able to get a hit stick in there right after they picked it up and forced a fumble. Again, this particular turnover is completely unnecessary. You don't have to force a turnover. I mean, if you do these tips and strategies I think that I'm doing, even without a turnover, I think you'll be absolutely fine. As you see, I'm already at almost at the 450-yard mark, only at halftime. And so starting off now, still can give up 7 points, and pretty much all I need is the 50 yards every quarter, and then the 100 yards passing, and I'm done. So this time what I do is when I go into the field goal block, I put my man right under the center. And so when he hikes it, they fumble the ball. Now this is going to take a couple extra minutes, but it prevents you from giving up 0 yards. And so each time you do it, they're going to recover or you recover, but it gives you a 5-yard penalty. And so slowly but surely they creep up the field, and you're giving up 0 yards. And so I did that every single time until they got all the way back to the very end, and they were able to pick up the fumble and they ran it in. So I only gave up like 7 yards on that drive, and if I would have did that the first time, then I would have only given up a total of like 10 yards and would definitely have been better off. But now back to getting that 50 yards and a half. Barry Sanders breaks it the very first play. I take it all the way down to the 2-yard line, 1-yard line. So I have the 50 yards, and then I go back to that strong formation, pitch it back to Barry Sanders, run it in the opposite direction, because now I need the passing yards. And of course with these 4 verts, man, these 4 verts work like a charm. I throw it up usually to the left side. I think Fitzgerald does better than Michael Irvin with catching these balls. At least in my experience, he does. And so now I'm just concentrating on getting that 100 yards. Since I already got the 50 yards, only need 1 more touchdown, and so got the touchdown. So that's 5 total touchdowns now, and it's just not even the end of the 3rd quarter. And pretty much what it comes down to is just playing 1 single round of defense. You give up the ball twice, let them score twice, and then playing it 1 single time on defense. And I kicked the onside kick. I got the interception right here, so I was able to do that. But if I was able to do that offsides where it just slowly creeps up the field, I would have kicked the ball all the way down the field instead of actually giving up the instead of actually doing the onside kick. That way, just had more room to play with. But now it's the start of the 4th quarter. Got the 100 yards. Now all I need is the 50 yards for the rushing. It's back. Now I have the entire quarter, so I put it on chew clock. All I need is 50 yards. I can't give up any more yards. I don't want to give up any more points. So put it on chew clock and just run the ball. All I need is the 50 yards again. And I think it's all the way down to maybe like the 5-yard line will give me my 50 yards. And so that's what I do to pretty much finish out the game. So like I said, a couple of unique strategies. I think if you go into field goal block, remember, you can give up two scores. So the time you want to give up your scores, just kick an onside kick, and then go into that field goal block and sit behind the center and let them fumble it. Let them slowly creep up the field, and then you'll only give up like 5 yards and then the 7 points. And then the next time you want to do it, do the exact same thing. Then they'll have the 14 points, and you'll have only given up a total of like 10 or 15 yards. So at the very end, when you actually have to play your 1 round of defense, you can kick the ball off to them, and then you'll have the entire field to actually play defensive on. And so that was my strategy. Like I said, it took me 3 times to do it, but I was able to get it. Got all the packs on all the gauntlets. I'll put up those other videos as well, but I'll clump them all together or maybe separate them or anything. But I hope this video helped, man. I hope it made it easier for you. I know the rushing at least was the hardest thing for me, but want to see you get those packs, man. I want to see you get those extra packs because they are definitely awesome to get and to open. I will open them all next Saturday or next Sunday, Christmas Eve, for my weekly pack opening. But anyway, that is going to do it. Hope this video helped. If it did, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, and I'll post the other videos as well. But I'll check y'all later. I am out. Peace.